everyone. Before we begin, I want to let you know that this podcast is for informational and inspirational purposes only. The advice and insights shared here are based on my personal experiences and expertise, but they are not a substitute for professional, medical, psychological, or business advice. If you are dealing with a specific issue, please consult a qualified expert. And thanks for watching. Welcome everyone to Hope, Healing and Transformation. My name is Lisa Williams and I am your host of this podcast. Please like and subscribe. As always, share it to all of your friends and family if, of course, you find this interesting. And today we are going to do a reading. I know nothing about this person. All I know is that they have some pain. I don't know much about them. In fact, I only know a name. That's all I know. My producers on here and also my assistant make sure that I know absolutely nothing, just for the integrity of the show. Now, to give you some background, how I like to work is I don't ever want to know anything. And obviously, as the story unfolds, as I start sharing information, as we start communicating, bits and pieces will actually start happening and I'll start picking up information. And I've been doing this for a long time, but when it comes to somebody's, I'm working with somebody in the medical field, I just want to preface this. I'm not a medical intuition. I am not a medical expert. So everything I say is just by me tapping into their inner child and by me tapping into that space. What I'm able to do, and you'll see me doing this, well, maybe you will, maybe you won't, but I will sometimes place their energy onto my arm. And what I'm doing is placing their energy onto the arm, and I can literally scan their body and be like, whoa, I'm feeling this is where the pain is. And I can dive into what the cause is. Now, as we know, the medical industry or anybody, we are looking at the symptom. So what I mean by that is if you have a headache, there is a symptom. Now, many of you know that I follow the Dr. Tennant's protocol of working and where energy is medicine. And in that space, what we're actually doing is we're looking at 5 reasons for chronic illness. Now, chronic illness can be everything from an autoimmune disease to backache to cancer and onward terminally, ill patients. And often, and I'm not saying this is the case on every single one, and I know there are some medical professionals out there that will probably question what I'm saying. However, I work on energy and I work in energy medicine. And we talk about 5 main causes of illness. And those 5 main causes are, and this is from Dr. Tennant, who is actually a good friend of mine, and I work very much with the Institute in Dallas, is there are toxins in the environment. So anything which is environmental, any form of toxins that we can't control, such as mold, allergies, that can have an impact on our health. We also have thyroid, obviously, being a very important area of our physiological and anatomy. And then we also have scars and tattoos. Now, scars and tattoos, some of you might say, well, why are scars and tattoos? And I'm sitting here with a big tattoo on my back. I've got tattoos on my body. And the reality is the scars and tattoos, it cuts the energy flow. So if we look at what an EKG is really the energy. It's measuring the energy that is going into our body or moving through our body. Now, if we look at Chinese medicine, they work on meridians, and the meridians that are flowing, and the flow is allowing the energy to flow through our body. Now, if we have any form of scar or tattoo, and I point to my wrist particularly, this is actually blocking the natural energy flow because it can be seen as a foreign body or it's a break in the energy. And so that's also the reason why. So I do want to make sure people know that. Also, dentistry, the other part of it is your dental work. And some of you may know this and some of you may not, but I have what I consider to be a down payment on a house in my mouth. Last year, I really took it very seriously, and I took my dental work very seriously. I was absolutely petrified of the dentist, and I finally found somebody I completely trust in, and I recognized that I had all of this amalgam in my mouth, which is the mercury, and every time my mouth was like closing, it was just leaking mercury into obviously my body. And so I noticed a complete change in how my body and how my moods were when, now that I don't have the mercury, now that I've had the implant rather than a root canal. And I know this will give a load of questions. I am not a dentist. You have to remember, I'm not a medical expert, but this is known fact. If we look at biomedicine, you'll actually see that each tooth is linked to a particular, which is interesting. I'm not sure if my next client has issues with the dental or jaw, but we'll come up with it. So I'm just making a note of it. But each tooth is related to a part of our body. And then, of course, the other part, the fifth one, which is probably the most, the real one that causes a lot of problems, is our emotions. And so when we're talking about obviously major illnesses or anything that we can't get some form of answers to, it's often because of one of these five or several of them, combined. So in this space, what I like to do is I'm going to be working with my client, Rachel. That's all I know. And as I'm working with Rachel, I'm going to be very aware of her body, very aware of spirit, and I'm going to allow spirit to just lead me. Now, what you'll see is you may see me moving to one side, and that is actually me connecting in with spirit. So I have a woman that's already sitting here and gearing up to communicate with her. Two people. So I'm seeing two people. I'm just kind of giving you behind the scenes knowledge about what is going on for me right now. So I feel two people that are actually gearing up. Okay. I'm just going to put this down. Not sure why I'm feeling this, but I definitely feel like there might be a mom or someone that represented a mom to her. But we'll see. I've got a younger person as well, so that's interesting. We'll see if that actually relates to her as soon as she walks in or comes on the air. All right, so let's see where we go. Hi, Rachel.
Hi, Lisa.
Nice to meet. Now, I can't see. Hold on. Hello, how are you?
Good, you?
I am good. Where are you from?
I'm from Gatineau, Quebec.
Oh, Quebec. Oh, I love Quebec. Oh, beautiful. I love this. Okay, so have you ever had a reading before?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Has it been with me before?
No, never with you.
Okay, good. Just wanted to make sure. And also, just for the authenticity, have we ever met before or discussed this issue with me personally? Okay, great.
No.
Let's see. I'm just going to grab something. I'm going to grab my pendulum. I'm not sure if I'm going to need it, but I'm just going to grab it. So, because it's just here. Not sure I'm going to need it, but we'll see. We will see. All right. Give me a second, Rachel. Let me just tap in, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so my question to you is, do you want to know everything?
Yes, I do.
Okay, great. Obviously, if I start giving you information you don't want to know about, please let me know. But until then, I'm just going to completely surrender to spirit and give you everything that I get. As I was doing my little intention, I was asking for your energy to come forward. And I often see it as a younger child. And what it feels like is that when you were younger, you were probably a little bit more cautious. There was a little bit of cautiousness, so you wouldn't automatically trust. So did you often find that sometimes you didn't always trust people when you were younger?
Yes.
Okay, because as I was tapping into the little girl, we call it inner child. When I was tapping into that, it was like there was this cautiousness about coming to meet me halfway, and I felt very reserved in that space as well. As I'm sitting here, I'm just going to share with you, and as I shared with the listeners beforehand, you and I haven't spoken. As I'm going through major causes of illnesses, and then also before I got on here, I'm going to share with you where I had pain, because everything is I see, feel, and do. See, feel, hear, and do before a reading is not mine. I have a pain in my shoulder, okay, and I also had problems with either dental or problems with my face or jaw area, and that's what was causing me issues. So would either one of those relate to you by any chance?
Both of them do. The
Great.
shoulder
Not my
and the jaw.
Okay. And would this have been on the left-hand side as well?
No, it's on the right hand.
It's on the right side, and it's the right shoulder. Okay. All right. I'm just wanting to make sure I'm getting my area. Okay. And also, let me go with this, because all of a sudden I feel like I have a woman that's coming through. I'm not sure if mom is on the other side, but I feel like I have a woman that's actually stepping in, and she represents a mother to you. So would I be correct in saying that mom is on the other side, please?
Yes, you are.
Okay. And also, would dad be also on the other side as well?
Yes, he is.
Okay. I have these two people. And can I just ask, would you understand that there is a younger male that is also on the other side? I'm not sure if this is a partnership of yours, a friendship, or a brother, but it felt to me as though it was of your age generation or of that generation. But it felt to me as though there is an older, so not older, a gentleman that was of your age range on the other side. Does that make sense?
Yes, my uncle.
Okay. And would you also understand that he passed quite quickly and quite suddenly?
Yes.
All right. Because I feel like his life was taken very, very quickly, and that's what I'm being shown here. As I'm tapping in, I've got your mom sort of sitting on my chair here, which is great. She's actually very, very cautious, so I am not sure if she would actually hold herself very private and very cautious, but there is this private side to her. But I do feel as though she was actually interesting. She's actually showing me that the two of you were very good friends. Okay, so as much as you were mother-daughter, there was a friendship here. Okay, you liked each other, is what I'm going to say. And I can't always say that about everybody. But what's interesting is I don't feel as though she would be, again, I feel very cautious. I feel as though she was very guarded. Do you understand this?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I do.
And do you understand that she could have been a little bit more, I feel you, when I connected into you, I almost wanted to say that your guardedness came from mom. So whether she was always like, don't do this because of that, don't do that, don't do this. I felt like there was a little bit of, not necessarily control, but I do feel as though it was a little bit, you were exceptionally guarded. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay. And I do feel that within this situation, thank you, she wants to apologize. She's just said, I'm sorry. She is sorry. And interesting, did she not get a chance to say goodbye for some reason?
No, she did. We did say goodbye.
You did? Well,
Yes,
who was the person that you did not say goodbye to?
My father.
Your dad. Okay, so I'm getting the two mixed up, because I went, hold on, we didn't say goodbye, and I was like, who are you? All right, so it was your dad that you never got a chance to say goodbye. Let me try and stay with mom for a moment, because I like to try and stay in some order. No, let me come with your dad, actually. He's actually a little bit pushy. And I don't know whether he was kind of a pushy man, but he feels like he was not always an easy man to. Thank you. He said, I prefer pushy. So I do feel that he could be a little bit pushy onto people. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
He could push his opinions onto people. I also feel with him, I also don't feel as though it was an easy situation as with him. So I'm not sure if there was a lot of issues. Does that make sense?
Yes,
There
it
was
does.
a lot of problems in the family, and I feel like there was a lot of guardedness because of Dad. Actually, if I can say that.
Yeah.
Do you understand that your childhood when you were younger? And I'm so sorry if I trigger you. So please tell me if I'm saying some things that are just a little bit too much. Around the age of 4 years old, was there an issue between you and your dad, or something that came up that your dad was, I don't know, I just feel as though got angry about?
When I was 4 years old, I don't remember.
Okay. It was when you were younger, is what I'm being shown. He wants to apologize about, it's not your mum that's apologizing, it's him that's apologizing. Because I feel as though now the word abuse can bring so much. It can be here to here. It's all relative. But he's showing me he could have been somewhat abusive. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
And he's apologizing for that. He's just said, I'm so sorry, because he's actually shown me that you've been riding that whole wave and you've been carrying the weight of him. As I'm bringing myself in here, do you have pain in your jaw as well?
Yes, I do.
And is it all on your right side as well?
On the right side, yes.
Right. And I feel like I'm going right in here, kind
Yeah.
of right back here. And as I'm connecting in with your dad, that's where I'm seeing the pain. And what I feel here with this is I feel like there's unresolved issues here. You were never allowed to speak your truth. I don't know whether you were always told to be quiet, and children should be seen and not heard. But I feel as though you couldn't always have this voice. Does that make sense?
A little bit.
Okay. Do you ever feel intimidated around men?
No. My father,
Okay.
yes, but men, no.
Okay. He just showed me there was an intimidation. Okay. And that's what he kept showing me. In here, it's coming up for me. I'm going to come on to your medical stuff in a moment. Do you have a son as well, by any chance?
Yes, I do.
It's going to sound really weird. I need to get hand cream for my hands. When I connect so deeply into spirit like this, sometimes my hands go very, very dry. What's your son's name?
Nicholas.
Has there been some issues around him recently?
Yes, there has.
I'm feeling as though Nicholas needs an additional support. All right.
Okay.
A lot of support. And I'm feeling as though he actually pushes people away.
Yes, he
So
does.
he pushes people away. He creates a lot of issues. He creates his own issues, if I'm being honest. Or let's just say he won't actually, he doesn't listen. He doesn't help himself. Okay. But what I'm actually feeling is that there is this distance here between you and him of sorts. Okay. And I'm not saying that he's distant from you, but I feel as though he has created somewhat of a distance. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
Okay. And I don't know whether you feel estranged from him, but I do feel that this has actually caused you a lot of heartache and a lot of pain.
Yes.
And again, as I'm talking about this, I'm feeling my jaw go. And I'm feeling like this is really, really hurting back here. And there is definitely some form of reflection. I'm not sure if Nicholas has caused you, and I've got all of a sudden very chilled, cold. It's like I've been sat in a cold plunge. I feel like whatever Nicholas is going through is there's triggers of it, and it's triggered you in your body with your dad or with somebody. And I feel that you've kind of thrown your arms up in the air with Nicholas, and you can't do anything. Okay, it's like you're banging your head against a brick wall. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Come and talk to me, Mom. Oh no, I've got to stay with your dad. Your dad's pushy. I got to stay with your dad. I'm not saying Nicholas is like your dad, but I feel as though there are similarities. There are certain similarities here that he's showing me that he's a chip off the old block, as what we would say. So I feel, would you understand if I said that Nicholas could be a lot like your dad?
Yes, I understand.
Right. And I feel like this is what's caused a lot of pain.
Okay.
The right side is actually very masculine here. And so the masculine energy is often because of either issues with masculine, or there's been something. And you've actually grown up, or you've actually, when Nicholas was growing up, you really protected him. And I felt like you shouldered a lot of the weight. I felt like you actually shouldered a huge amount of support. So whether he was sometimes bullied or something like that, I feel like you really did protect him. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Because I feel like you went above and beyond to actually protect him. And I feel in your mind that with you pushing in and really trying to protect, what you've done is you've guarded him. Okay, show me. Your mum just said that she never had a voice. She never had a voice. And I don't know whether it was a difficult relationship between her and your dad, but she just said I didn't have a voice.
Okay.
And she's saying that you now have a voice, and you have worked really hard to have a voice. And I'm not sure if you are a big advocate for other people who don't have voices. Do you sing or do you speak?
I don't sing, but I do speak for other people.
Okay, because I just kept feeling like you're speaking up and you're speaking out, is what I'm being shown. Mom is also saying is it your birthday coming up?
In July.
Okay, no, is there somebody else's birthday that's coming up?
Yes, it's my brother's birthday who's coming
Okay,
up.
because she just wanted to say happy birthday. Your mum was not someone to not wish somebody a happy birthday. Okay,
Yeah.
so when's your brother's birthday?
May 9th.
Okay, so it's coming up. All right, because I just kept being shown it's. I could take July, but no, I wanted to go a little bit sooner. And she wanted to say that, and I feel that you and your mum were very close, is what she's showing me, and she's showing me that you really nurtured her. You gave her a huge amount of love and a lot of nurturing. And she just kept showing me that you were someone that she could rely on. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
And she's saying thank you for all the help that you gave her. She realizes it wasn't easy. She just said that I wasn't easy. And she didn't want to be a burden. You know, she never wanted to be a burden. But she also recognized that she didn't have the ability to actually look after herself. Okay. And she showed me that you stepped in. You almost swooped in like Florence Nightingale for some reason. So I feel that that was important. And she shows me here you holding her hand, you absolutely holding her hand and telling her it was going to be okay. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
She wants to say thank you to you for that, because it was so powerful. Did you light a candle for her at some point? Because she's remembering you lighting a candle for her,
Yes.
whether it was a religious thing. And she's also showing me that either you have something of hers, or you may be wearing something of hers right now, whether it is a ring, a jewelry piece, a necklace, whatever it is. She's showing me that you have something of her. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay. She's actually saying thank you. She's also wanting me to make cake. So I don't know whether she liked cake,
Yes.
and cookies and
Yes.
sweets, but it's like she wants to make cake.
Okay. We'll pick.
And she always loved the children. It's really important to know that she loved the children. And I'm messing with my hair, and I've no idea why I'm messing with my hair. But unless she loved to mess with hair, but all of a sudden I'm just messing with hair, and it felt very important for her. Do you have a lock of her hair by any chance?
Yes, I do.
Because as I talked about messing with the hair, I went, oh no, it's a lock of her hair that you have. Um, she also recognizes that she couldn't walk towards the end, and that was difficult for her.
Yeah.
All right, because I think your mum was quite an active lady. I do think that she
Yeah.
could have a very fun side to her. And she's saying that she was very much into the children. She loved children. She loved she was very active with the children as well. And you have a daughter, is that correct?
Yes, I do.
Okay. She wants to give her love to your children, and she's giving love to. Do you have more than one daughter?
I have two, one who's deceased and one who's still
Right.
with me.
She's bringing me in with the one that has crossed over, but earlier on before you actually started, I was like, I have someone who's younger here. So she's showing me that she's with a daughter, and I was like, but she's given me two here. And so she's showing me this. Let me tap in. Let me stay with your mom. All right, she said, stay with me, and then you'll have the time here. So let me stay with mum for a moment. What she's actually letting me know is she wants to thank you. It's very important that you know how much you were treasured. You were completely treasured by her. Okay. Um, do you Is there somebody that shares roughly around the same birthdays? Do you have the same birthdays or the same month with somebody else?
My father.
Okay. All I just kept being shown is that you share a birthday, or you share the same month as somebody else. And all I keep hearing is celebrate your birthday, which is important.
Okay.
Your daughter, could she be quite a live wire? Because suddenly I've got this real like lively individual that's stepping forward. Was she quite lively?
My daughter that passed?
Look, daughter that crossed.
No, she crossed. She was only 2 months old.
She was 2 months
So
old. Okay,
yeah.
so I've got this lively energy. And so let's talk about her now. Obviously, that's probably why it's so when babies cross, it's kind of an interesting space. It's like I feel them as adults, but I feel them. It's a very different energy. And earlier on, before you came on, I was talking to the camera, and I was actually saying I feel like I have someone who's much younger in spirit. And so I feel, and do you understand that she passed very suddenly, your daughter?
Yes.
Okay. And what I keep being told is that there was nothing that you could do. So I want you to be aware of that. And I feel that this was just this weird, random situation. It felt very unexpected. It also felt very, I don't know how else to explain it. It just felt very out of the blue, out of the ordinary. Okay. I see her as an adult, okay, but I see her being kind of like this energy. And I feel like she was around. She passed before your mum, is that correct?
Yes, she did.
Because she's saying that she welcomed your mum and your dad over.
Hmm.
Do you often call her the angel as well?
Yes.
Because she's talked about her being the angel, that you've
Yes.
always got an angel watching over you. And I
Hmm.
put her on your shoulder for some reason. So whether you often say, I've got her on my shoulder, but she just keeps sharing that with me. Thank you. In my head, just to give you context, I was like, oh, are you the reason for the shoulder pain? She's like, no. I'm like, okay. So Do you have any questions before I move into your body and find
No,
out? Oh,
no.
okay. You can. In fact, your daughter and your mom has literally just said, "Can we stay?" And I went, "Absolutely, you can." So I'm just letting you. I wish I had a plug that you could see what was going on in my brain. All right. So interesting. As I'm connecting in, I feel this bond between your mom and your daughter. I'm not sure if you actually said when your mum was passing, give her a hug from me, because I felt like you literally said to your mom, give her a hug from me when you see her.
I
Okay.
told her to cross over and to go see her. She was waiting for her.
And that's exactly what happened. I literally was just like, wow, I feel your energy in my arms. And I also feel as though there's been a lot of forgiveness on your dad, all right, as well, that you've done a lot of forgiving there. You've really worked hard on forgiving in that space. And I'm actually feeling at some point, was there an estrangement between you and your dad that you didn't always communicate?
Yes, there was.
Because I kept feeling like there was this break in the relationship. And as I'm connecting in with you right now, I feel that your dad, had he had some substance abuse? Did he drink or anything like that?
He didn't really drink, but he had mental issues.
Okay. It felt like something triggered this outbursts, if I can say that,
Okay.
these moments. And I wasn't sure if it was alcohol or substance, but I do feel as though something triggered his outbursts. But I do also feel that when you were younger, you tried to make sure that you were in Dad's good books, so you didn't not to push, tread very carefully, walking on eggshells. Um, as I'm tapping into your body. Oh, okay. So something's coming up for your stomach. Have you ever had issues around your stomach as well? Maybe some, I don't know whether it's digestive problems, but it feels to me as though it's around the large intestine. I hate to say it, go into the bathroom, but anything like that. Does that feel a little bit
Yes,
delicate?
I've had issues with my intestines.
Right, because as I'm feeling into this area, this feels to me, and did this come on around the time that Mom passed away?
Before.
Just before.
Before,
Um,
yeah.
Now, was it like a year before your mom passed away?
I'd say about 2 years before she passed.
Okay, and had she been sick at that point?
Yes, she had. She was.
Right. What it feels like here, what I'm doing is I'm tapping into the energy of your intestine, and it feels like you were anticipating her passing. So I'm not
Yeah.
sure if she'd been given a terminal illness or a diagnosis that was terminal, but it felt to me as though the grief and the heaviness and the weight of the emotion carried by mom was now affecting your stomach. Okay. And you have a sister, is that right?
No sister.
Okay.
I have a brother.
You have a brother. In that case, did your daughter also have problems with the stomach area around the same time? Or does she have
Uh,
problems with her stomach?
my daughter, yes, she does have problems with her stomach.
Right. Yeah, because I feel like there's a massive link between you and your daughter. Wasn't sure if it was your mom, but I feel a massive link between you and your daughter on the stomach complaint. Okay. Um, do you mind if I release them? Are you okay if I work on it?
Yeah.
All right, great. I never like to take it for granted. Okay, so I just want to make sure. Okay. Yeah, it feels like it's, when you're pulling hair out of a hairbrush and it's tangling and you've got to, move it. It just feels a little bit, just feels like it's a little bit sticky. Sticky is a good word. Like that, sticky. Um, all right, so, okay, here we go. This feels like a lot of grief here. I don't know whether you're anticipating your mom's passing. Feels like a huge amount of grief in your stomach. Whenever you think of your mom passing or grief, do you ever hold it in your belly? Do you ever feel like your belly is like the main thing?
No, not really. I do
No.
have a
Okay,
lot.
good.
I've had a lot of grief, but I didn't relate to that.
Right, that's okay. This is all grief in your stomach. Yeah, so if you've had a lot of grief, this is all grief. Did you lose a childhood friend too?
A childhood friend?
Or a
No.
friend that was very dear to you recently? Not recently, within the last 5 years.
Yes.
I've got a
Yes, I
friend.
did.
Got a friend that's popping in here, and it is a female, correct?
Yes, it's a female.
And could be quite funny, quite a lot of fun. I feel very energized with her energy.
Yes.
Um, I feel as though she's actually quite a bit of a laugh. And I do feel that, again, she's putting herself in your stomach. So I feel like this was probably someone that you felt as a very, very strong confidant for you. And it feels to me as though energetically, we've got grief here as well. There's a huge amount of grief here, and it's very, very layered. So I've got your daughter in here, the one that deceased. I've got your mom, your dad, your friend. There's a lot of grief, even down to your son is in here, and this is what it is. So. Oh, your friend just said you and her used to have a lot of laughs. You used to laugh a lot. Um, and she's just said that you would help anybody out. You have got a heart of gold and you would help anybody out. And she said that you helped her out in a lot of ways. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
And she said that you're very active in helping people. Okay. So you are always someone that wants to, thank you. She just said that you're the one that helps the underdog, that you'll help people thrive. You have this, you want to help a lot of people. And have you ever considered writing a book as well?
Sometimes I do, yeah.
There's something about writing the book. And as I went up to all right, so as I'm checking into your body, I also feel a little bit of pain, a little bit of heaviness around the chest area. Do you ever have like a weakness in the chest where maybe you get a cold and it all goes to the chest, like it's chesty, or you get a chesty cough or breathing difficulties?
Well, this year I'm having trouble with bronchitis, which I usually don't get.
What it is, okay? Because I'm like, as soon as I wanted to go to your throat, and I'm like, oh no, I'm stuck on your lungs. Um, yeah, this feels very, again. There's a huge amount of grief. When did this thing start with between you and Nicholas? Has
Me
that
and
been on
Nicola?
over the last 4 years?
Oh yeah, four or 5 years.
All right, because I kept seeing 4 years being really important. Interestingly enough, as I'm getting into the chest, I'm feeling. Have you also moved as well?
Me, no. Nicholas, yes, but not me.
Okay, he moved. Okay. Um, I feel like there was something about his move has kind of not shook you, but caused a little bit of an issue as well. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
I feel like it's really caused a lot of pain and heartache as well.
Yeah.
And I feel like, does he have a child?
No, he doesn't have a
He
child.
doesn't. Okay. I don't know why I picked that up. It feels like a lot of grief here. It feels like, oh, I'm just cutting the energy away. Take a deep breath for me. Just, okay. Okay, good. Good, good, good. Thank you. We come up. Oh, yeah, your shoulder. This has been going on for some time, hasn't it?
Yes, it has.
Do you ever get migraines as well?
No, not migraine. Sometimes a bit of a headache, but no
Okay.
migraine.
It just feels where it is in your jaw that it could cause problems. Okay, that's what it feels. Let me look at your shoulder. Mm. How long have you had this?
3 years.
Okay. You know that this is I don't know whether you had an accident that caused something, okay? Because it feels to me as though something triggered it, okay? Something started it. It could have been lifting something down from a shelf. Anything could start it. But the fact that it hasn't healed feels very psychosomatic. I'm not blaming anybody by all means, but I do feel that there has been a link to your son in this. And I feel that when things got very hard for your son and you, I feel that this started to get more and more painful. Is that right?
Yes.
Because what I'm actually feeling, and let me just explain this, so we can't just lay blame on one area. And it's not one area. It's if we start stacking things on top of each other, it gets to a point that at some point it's going to topple over because the top becomes heavier than the bottom. And what's happening is you've got so much triggering layers, 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 layers. And then suddenly it's just, you're the straw that breaks the camel's back, as they say, just that one little thing and it's just toppled. And I feel like what it's done is it's a triggering of Nicholas and the pressure and the support and the fact that you have shouldered all the weight. And I feel like there's a massive shouldering of all the weight. And I have a book that we can look at, but I'm just going to share with you what I'm seeing. You shouldered the weight and you actually have protected your son in a lot of ways. And I feel like you have protected him in ways that a lot of people maybe won't. And what I'm actually feeling is with what he has done or what he is going through or what he has happened is that then it's been put a massive weight on you. And I still feel that there is some form of either you're trying to carry him or you're trying to have some guilt or I should have done this or I should have done that or I could have. But it's also very triggering back to relationship possibly with your father as well. And that's what I feel here with this. Now, the jaw, as I'm tapping into the jaw as well, how long has the jaw been going?
3 years.
So they happened at the same time?
Yeah, the shoulder maybe a little before, but
Yep.
in the last 3 years, the pain is always, well, not always there, but mostly there.
Right. Because this one, again, when I was tapping in earlier, I was feeling like this is. Okay, I feel as though there is something here that is to do with Nicholas too. But I'm going to say, have you had problems with any of your teeth?
Yes.
Have you had amalgam fillings? Do you have like the mercury, the black fillings?
Yes, I do.
I'm really pulled into the fact that this is not helping you in this jaw area. And when you open your mouth, have you had difficulty with it clicking or there's some, it just doesn't, it feels really deep in here, almost like into
Yeah.
the sinuses right now.
Yeah.
And it feels, interesting. I'm not a biodentist. Have you got black fillings on the side of the mouth towards the back, right at the back?
Yes, I do.
I'm never going to tell you what to do. But I am going to say to you, if you ever feel inclined to remove those, that might be something that you may want to start with.
Okay.
Because what I feel, have you ever had any any issues with blood tests?
Issues with blood tests?
Yeah, like some, I don't know whether it's let me rephrase that. You're not anemic or had any blood counts or anything like that.
No, my last blood test, my cholesterol was high. Was the
Mine
only.
too. Mine too. What's going on with your big toe? Have you had problems with your big toe?
No, not really.
You haven't had anything going on there?
No, not really.
When you say not really, what does that mean?
Well, I have a bit of corn there that I'm trying to get rid of, but there's no pain or it's
Has that
not
been there?
bothering me.
How long has that been there?
That has been there for about a year, I guess.
Right. Let me try something. Do you worry a lot?
Oh, yeah, too
Ah,
much.
yeah, that's what I feel. I was like, I bet you that's her spleen because your spleen starts from the big toe. And it can be and it's in Chinese medicine, it starts on the big toe. And when we look at the spleen and the stomach, it means worry. And that's why I was like, yeah, I have a funny feeling that you've got your energy alignment is a little bit off. And I'm gonna show you with my pendulum
Yeah.
what it is. So I work on Dr. Tennant's. He does voltages and voltages medicine. Is it voltages medicine? Voltages energy? Where is it? I don't know. Anyway, I'll get the book. Voltages healing, and we work through polarities, but they're actually meridians. So let me work with my pendulum. All right. First of all, am I able to work with Rachel? Yes. Or no? Yes. Okay. Give me a sign for no. I always know what my signs are for yes and no, but now am I allowed to work with Rachel? Okay. Let's start. Your gallbladder. Okay. Sympathetic. Parasympathetic. You have a little bit of anxiety as well.
Yes, I did have some
Yeah.
anxiety.
That's coming up. Okay. Large intestine. Yeah, that makes sense. Lungs. Okay. Small intestine. Okay. Heart. That's good. Stomach. Spleen. There we go. Liver. Okay. Kidney and bladder. Okay, so what that shows me is that your large intestine and your lungs, the polarities are backwards. It shows me that there's no energy flow that's going down there. It also shows me that you may, and that is grief. Okay, so that's often where we have grief, and that's obviously the large intestine and the lungs, which is obviously the bronchitis. The sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system is anxiety. And also the stomach and the spleen. And the spleen was definitely a no. That is where we worry so much. So you worrying a lot can actually cause some issues. So let's just go in here. Let me just check. There's also issues around your lower back as well. Do you have problems with the lower back? A little bit of backache?
Yeah.
Have you ever been worrying a lot about money, or do you worry a lot about money?
Well, sometimes I do, not all the time, but
Okay.
sometimes.
Just feels a little, we all do, okay? It just
Yeah.
feels like there's a little bit of backache. Often lower back relates to money as well.
Okay.
Um, I'm just going to use this book. I love this book. I would love to get her on my show. It's The Metaphysical Anatomy by Yvette Rose. She is amazing, but I do want to just look up jaw, and I want to look up the shoulder because I've shown you what it is. Bear with me. Jaw problems 409. And you tell me whether or not it relates to you, and if you feel that it needs, if you need any. All right, so jaw problems. Okay, this is about speaking your truth. You have often felt ignored, and what you were feeling was invalid. So, did you often feel a little bit like what you were saying was not, I don't know, invalid, that you weren't appreciated?
Yes.
Okay. And a great deal of stress on the jawline. There's no power in your words. So this was about making sure that you start speaking your truth. Let's look at shoulder. So it feels to me as though there has been some issues between you and your son. 599. And I feel like this issues that you have had with your son has actually caused. I feel as though it's been the straw that broke the camel's back. There you go. So it relates to family responsibilities, leadership, making sure you're shouldering everything, and the masculine side. So let's look at shoulders. You may feel weighed down with responsibilities and are still taking on a lot more. So is that what you're doing?
Yes. Yeah, that's what I'm
Yep.
doing. Yeah.
Okay. People measure your value by how much you can do for them, and that may be the set case with your son. Maybe you do not trust others to pull through for you and support you. Instead, you feel you prefer to support others as you can control the outcome and the task. This makes you feel that you must do everything by yourself to get it done, and taking on responsibilities is not what gives you fulfillment that you crave, such as love. So it helps you feel loved, accepted, and praised, and that you feel obligated to take on a lot of issues. Interesting. And all right, and so maybe you've often had some low self-esteem. So have you had some low self-esteem with this as well?
When I was younger, yes.
Okay, all right. Um, right, your stress on your shoulders is a result of providing for others and a fear of never having enough. Okay, let me ask you here because something is coming up. Do you often have a little bit of fear as well that's going on? Do you fear
Yes,
the
I do.
worst?
Yeah.
All right, so let's just do an exercise here because when we look at bone, it's always the root chakra. So we've got energy systems. So we've got Chinese medicine energy systems. We've also got chakra systems, which is energy in our body. Do you know about the chakra system?
Yes, I do.
Amazing. And so when we talk about fear, our body is all about this. Now, this also brings me in. Have you had nose problems as well or any sinus issues?
No.
Okay, good. Often when we have fear, we often sometimes have sinus issues. Okay. All right. So let's go into what I want you to do is I want you to imagine that you're grounding into the ground. Okay. So I want you to imagine that you're elongating your spine and imagine that it's going directly into the ground. And I just want you to allow yourself to be at peace here and just allow yourself to really, really push the energy into the ground. Okay. And feel supported by the earth, feel really supported and grounded. And I would love you to just release everything that no longer serves you into the ground and allow it just to sink away. Just allow it just to flow through you. And I would love you just to take a deep breath and allow your mind just to wander. It doesn't need to settle on anything, but as you go to your shoulder, I would love you to just tap in, maybe hold onto your shoulder and say, what is my shoulder telling me? So what does your shoulder want you to know? What is it saying to you?
Mom.
Right. And is that the fact that you want mom or that you're missing mom?
I think more missing.
Okay. And when you say mom, is that because maybe you feel like you can't be a mom to one of your children as well? It's a yes or a no. I'm not attached to the
No,
answer.
no.
Okay, good. So this is more your relationship with your mom. So as you hold onto your shoulder, I would love you to just allow yourself to say, where is it that how can I create a relationship with my mom? So I want you to ask your shoulder what it can do for you, what you might need.
How can I have a relationship with my mom? What do I need right now?
Is it giving you any signs or any answers?
Love.
Love. Okay. And all I've heard is, I love you. Do you ever get butterflies by any chance as a sign from mom?
Yes.
Because I literally got butterfly. I wrote it down. I just had to write it
That's my
down.
mom.
Yeah. Okay. So as we're connecting into mom, as we're allowing that to happen, now I want you to bring yourself to your jaw here. I want you to bring your energy to your jaw. And I would love you to notice, what is your jaw trying to tell you? What does it mean? What does it need?
It's tired.
Okay, it's tired. And as it's tired, I want you to ask it, what is it tired from?
The pain.
Okay. And when you tap in, I want you to ask, what type of pain is it tired from? Is it emotional or physical?
I think it's both.
Okay. And I want you to just tap into the pain in the jaw, and I would love you to ask, what can you start to work on first? Where do you need to start to work first?
What do I need to work first? The emotional.
Good. And as we think about the emotional pain, where does your emotional pain start taking you? Does it take you into, but where does the emotional pain take you to what part in your life, not necessarily physical, but what part in your life emotional?
The stress and the grief.
The stress and the grief. So as we're looking at the stress and the grief, what does your heart need and your body need to actually help you recover and not overcome, because we never overcome it, but what's it need to help you work through that grief and the stress?
Love.
So we're bringing it all back to love.
Yeah.
All right, so let's just put our hand on our heart right now. And I would love you to see, where in your life do you feel that you're missing love? Where in your life do you feel that you need that love?
With myself.
Good. And where in your life do you need that compassion?
I need it now.
Okay. And do you feel as though it's for you that you need compassion?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
Okay. What I'd like you to do is take your two fingers of both hands, And we're going to just tap here very lightly, all right, not hard. And I want you to repeat after me. I am love.
I am love.
I love myself.
I love myself.
And I honor what I have been through.
And I honor what I have been through.
I am love.
I am loved.
I am, and I love myself.
And I love myself.
And I honor and respect all that I have been through.
And I honor and respect all that I've been through.
And move up here. And even though I can't control the outcome,
And even though I can't control the outcome,
I will always love myself,
I will always love myself.
no matter what,
No matter what,
no matter what gets in the way,
no matter what gets in the way,
I will put myself first.
I will put myself first.
Okay, and just relax. Take a deep breath. How are you feeling?
Calm.
That's what we like. How's your shoulder feeling?
Feels better.
How's your jaw feeling?
Feels like it's unfreezing.
Okay, so I'm freezing. Was it feeling like it was stuck at some point?
Yeah, I always feel like, when you go to the dentist and they freeze you up, that's the feeling I'd have. But with the
Okay.
pulling and the pain.
Yep. Okay. So I don't know whether you have any questions about what we've done, but I feel like there has to be some form of forgiveness somewhere. I feel as though there's been a lot of, and I'm really going to encourage you to do some tapping and some affirmation work,
Okay.
around here. You know how to have a relationship with your mom, communication, all of that,
Yeah.
looking for the signs. But I really feel that this thing with your son has actually caused a lot of pain. And maybe not something that you want to look at right now, but I feel like when you're ready, it might be a point that you might want to journal on it, and you may want to get some journaling prompts, or you may want to do some work on that, because I feel that you've had to shoulder a lot. You've had to put up with a lot. You've had to, I just want to say, shoulder it all. And you've had to make sure that everything's fine. I'm okay. We're fine. We're fine. We're fine. But really, you're not. And it's about allowing yourself that time to grieve, that time, that energy. Because I feel like what you've done is you carried the weight for so long. And, and you just toppled. And that's what's happened. So, do you have any questions or anything else that you want me to look at?
I don't have any questions, but I'd like to thank you. I really connect with everything that you've said. And even you're talking about journaling, and I've been thinking about it in the last 3-4 days that I should start a journal. I've
Right.
already started working on myself, and I'm going to keep up on it. So I
Oh,
really thank you for taking this time. Like, it's very precious to me, and I really appreciate it. I know it's going to
yeah.
help me.
I'm so glad. I am really, really glad. And I'm really happy to help you through that. Now, there is actually something on my website that you can go to. And in fact, I think it's on the podcast site where you signed up. So it's lisawilliams.com/podcast, I believe. And we can send you the link. And for those of you listening, you can actually click on the link, and it is steps to help you get through emotional freedom to that. And there's a little meditation on there. I think that would help you. Breath work is going to be really good. Let's see if your polarities are back in check. Because I think that's going to be really important. Okay, so gallbladder, good. Sympathetic, parasympathetic, large intestine. Look at that go now. Lungs, small intestine, heart, liver, stomach, spleen, still spinning, kidneys, and bladder. All right, look, your energy is flowing completely. I love that. So yeah, I would download some of those. There's 10 journaling prompts on there. It will really help you they're just prompts to kind of start getting you thinking. And there's a little meditation on there that I think will really help you just to kind of start releasing and putting yourself first, because I know sometimes we don't. So yeah. Oh my God. Thank you for joining me. Thank you.
I thank you. I'm very grateful to have this opportunity. I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Good. And so those of you who are watching, thank you for joining us. I hope you can actually see that psychosomatic symptoms do actually play a part. And so with Rachel's reading, obviously, I didn't know the shoulder and the jaw were big problems. Just being able to tap in, having the communication with mom, being able to look at all of those things, what we can actually start seeing is correlations. And it just takes a little bit of time to use our own intuition to realize that you can easily help yourself. So do the techniques that I did with Rachel at home, practice them, and who knows, that mysterious pain that you have in your leg all of a sudden disappears. My name's Lisa Williams. Thank you for watching Hope, Healing and Transformation and listening to us. You can watch us and listen to us everywhere: Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and of course share, like and subscribe so you do not miss an episode. All right, until next time, remember, you are the most important person in your life, and I'll see you again very soon. Thank you so much for joining me today. And remember, the information shared on this podcast is meant to inspire and support you, but it's not a replacement for personalized advice from a qualified professional. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with someone who might benefit. And don't forget to tune in next time. Until then, take care and keep believing in something better.